You're a beginner, no problem. Everybody has to begin somewhere. First, let's pick a species that's fun to catch, puts up a fight, is abundant, and is an excellent choice to eat. So today's species of choice is the bluegill. In this video, you will learn, number 1, where to fish for bluegill. Number 2, rod and reel choices. Number 3, preferred bait and jig choices. And number 4, fishing techniques that make you successful catching bluegill. I hear this all the time. I like to fish, but I never catch anything. There's nothing worse for a beginning angler to go fishing and not catch anything. It turns many off to fishing, and they think fishing is boring or a waste of time. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. Let's fix that. You can find bluegills just about anywhere in the United States. The vegetation along a lake's edge is absolutely key to the breeding season. It protects the fry, makes good cover for forage. Bluegills love it. You could be fishing a farm pond. You can find bluegill just about in any body of water you wish. I love to fish lakes for bluegill, especially rocky outcrops hold an abundant amount of bluegill. You don't need a boat either. It's nice to have a boat, but you can fish from shore just as easy and catch just as many. When it comes to fishing for bluegill, I really recommend an ultralight rod, an ultralight reel, low visibility line. I use 4-pound test ultra low visibility green line. Disappears in the water. And you want to use a rod that's super sensitive and can take abuse. Okay? Very sensitive, very well priced, and you can get these just about anywhere. Walmart, Bass Pro, Field and Stream, any place that carries sporting goods supplies. Great rod for fishing for bluegills. This is what is known as a tube bait. It's 1.5 inches long. You can get these at Walmart. You can get these just about anywhere. It is a great choice for panfish, especially bluegills. Now, these come in different sizes. You don't want to go too big. I wouldn't go any bigger than 1.5 inches. What I'm going to do now is show you what this looks like underwater, which is pretty cool. So, in the water, this is what it looks like to the fish. It's got great action. That tail moves up and down, and it really entices the fish to strike. It's because it looks so alive. That's what's so good about tube baits. They're just a good all-around bait for panfish, especially bluegills. Now, the 1.5 inch tube bait has a cousin, and it's called a micro jig. It's much smaller, and that's really a good thing for bluegills. They have a small mouth, and because their mouth is so small, the smaller bait results in a better hook set and more fish. Now, here's what this looks like in the water. It doesn't have as much action, but it still entices bluegills to bite. I really believe it's the smaller size is what drives a bluegill to attack this. It's really a finesse bait. This is what micro jigs look like. They come in all different assorted colors. I just wanted you to see how tiny they are, and I'll show you for comparison the size of a regular tube bait jig head versus a micro jig tube bait, which is 1/64 of an ounce. They're tiny. Here is the comparison. The top jig is 1/32 ounce. It's a slip jig head, goes in the back of the tube bait, and the eyelet pops out the front. And the bottom jig head is round. It only weighs 1/64 of an ounce, and it goes inside the micro jigs. These are a good choice when bluegills are finicky. Now, next on the list is a whole assortment of different type of flies. Now, these are not representations of hatches. These are just colorful flies that look buggy and bug-like and fuzzy. And bluegills love these. And they can change their color preferences, but they really like yellows and whites and blues and natural hair colors. And this would be a great choice for a fly rod. But you can put these under a bobber and have really, really good results. As you can see here, underwater, it's got a fuzzy look to it. Looks almost like a spider or some sort of bug. Bluegills just can't resist that, especially when they're on the nest. They'll come up and they'll suck that right in. This is an all-time classic. This is the twister tail. They come in all sizes, but I recommend a 1-inch for bluegills. These come in all assorted colors, every color imaginable. It's just they have a look under the water that fish can't resist. And this is what they look like. When they're underwater, you have to move these a little faster, and it gets the tail moving, and you can see the tail fluttering, and that's what really entices them. These look alive. These they mimic maybe a minnow, but they have great action under the water, and they're a good choice for panfish. Bluegills like these very much, but the smaller the twister tail, the better. If it gets too big, they won't hit it. This is about as simple as it gets. This is old school. This is a straight shanked wire hook. And yep, you guessed it. It's got a split shot about 6-8 inches above the hook, and it is designed for one thing, the worm. And bluegills love worms. Let's take a look at what they look like underwater. Okay, everybody's favorite, the worm. And it's got all kinds of action under the water. They don't drown very easily. They stay alive for a long time. The problem is bluegills do love these, but you better have a ton of them, because bluegills will rob you quicker than you can imagine. 1 second and that sucker's gone, and you're scratching your head wondering, like, how the heck did he get that so fast, and why didn't I catch him? They are the masters of stealing bait. So have lots of worms when you go bluegill fishing. Remember, you don't have to take all these baits with you. I'm just giving you an idea of what works with bluegills so that you have a lot of options. This is the mealworm, and they work great for bluegills. Now, the mealworm is what I call the turtle of the bait world. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it does move ever so slightly, and sometimes that is very enticing to fish. They come up and they look at it. They see that slight movement, and then they just suck that sucker right in. And they come off the hook very easily too. Now, these are generally used for ice fishing, but they work really good in the summer for bluegills. They're brightly colored. They imitate little bugs and ants. The bluegill like the colors, and they're generally tipped with a maggot. And these are very, very effective. Very effective. Now, I didn't do a demonstration underwater with these, and I'm showing these to you because sometimes you just have to downsize your bait when you're fishing for bluegills because of their small mouth. If you're missing a lot of fish on your hook set, it's probably because your bait's too big. First, a disclaimer. Due to my injury to my shoulder and surgery, this is last year's archived footage. This is not this year, but it's the only thing that I have available at the moment for bluegill fishing. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm casting to the shore. I'm not using a bobber. I'm using a tube bait, and I'm throwing out and retrieving very slowly back to the boat. And ones that are about the size of my hand, I'm putting in a live well. Not using a bobber is a great technique. And the reason I like that is you can feel the strike. So I'm parallel to the shoreline, maybe 30 feet from the shoreline. I cast towards the shore and start a slow retrieve immediately. And as that sinks, the bluegills see that. They're on their nests, their spawning nests. They'll attack anything that comes near that. And you can see how quickly they hit. It's usually one right after another if you find them. And it can be a lot of fun, especially for beginning anglers. Now, you can use a bobber and keep the bait from hitting the bottom and a slow retrieve back, and that works very well too as a technique. And that's why I'm doing this video, is for beginners who really would like to catch more fish, and this is a good species to target because they cooperate so well. They're fun to catch, and they really put up a nice fight, and they are really, really good to eat. The fillets on bluegills are perfect for a fish fry. So now that you're catching fish, you're going to need to get a fillet knife. That's the whole point of this, right? You're catching fish now. Now, there are some necessary items you're going to need. And the first thing I recommend is a pair of hemostats to remove a hook from a fish's mouth. A counter is a good idea. Keeps track of how many fish you have. It's not necessary, but it's nice to have that. Now, when it comes to bobbers, you have a pencil type, which is real long and slender, easy for the fish to take under, and a smaller one. These are the ones I use for bluegills. To be honest with you though, I don't use a bobber much anymore. It's a good idea if you're a beginner to use a bobber because you can see the strike until you catch on to what it feels like. There's nothing wrong with using a bobber. They're fun to watch. Many anglers use them. So if you want to use a bobber, go ahead. Just don't use a bobber that's too big. That's a common error that I see. Remember, the purpose of a bobber is to keep your bait off the bottom and at a constant depth. Fishing is fun. It doesn't matter where you fish, how young or how old you are, or what lake or pond, from what boat or from what shore you decide to fish. You don't need to spend lots of money. Use an ultralight rod and reel plus the correct bait of your choice, with or without a bobber. Find some bluegills to catch and try what I have suggested, and I'm confident you'll be on the path of becoming a successful angler. Give bluegill fishing a try. You'll be glad you did. Hey, I'm Mr. R. This is the Rondinelli Project. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, we gone.